Welcome back to Stadia Source, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews. This is the Stadia Source Roundtable podcast. My name is Avery, and we have got a packed show tonight, so let's get to it. With me tonight, as always, I've got Dan the Man.
How's it going, guys?
We've got Lord Moore.
Hello.
Right below him, we've got Lee, the Sea Troot.
Hello.
One of these days, you're going to have to tell me what that means. And we have not one, not two, but three special guests tonight. You may know these first two gentlemen from their hit podcast, Sounds of Stadia. New episodes every Monday. It's Chris and Richie.
Hi everyone, hope you're all well. The hit is maybe pushing it a bit, but okay, I'll take it.
It's a hit. You're a hit in our books. You may know our other guest from his 4 World Championship titles on the EVO and WCG circuits, dominating the field in Dead or Alive and Mortal Kombat. It's Perfect Legend, Carl White.
Hey everybody, thank you for having me again. Really excited to talk about Google Stadia.
We are so thrilled to have you. Before we get started, did you know you can get the Roundtable as a podcast? Search for Stadia Source on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, 2 Tin Cans and a String, wherever it is that you get podcasts. So before we get started, Chris and Richie, we're so glad to have you here to discuss the week's Stadia news and chat our special guest and his love of Stadia, which is going to blow y'all away. This dude is super hyped for Stadia. So tell us a little bit about Sounds of Stadia and the things that you do on your channel.
Yeah, so I'm Chris. I'm one of the hosts of our Sounds of Stadia podcast team. I'm joined by my lovely co-host just below me in the middle of the screen, Richie. We come together with our lovely other co-host, Tom, who's not with us today. He's in the middle of a lovely relaxating week. He's having some time off to recuperate and stuff from moving house. Bless. I know, bless, he deserves it. Yeah, he does. But yeah, we bring you a weekly Stadia podcast, very much like this one, where we try and break down the news. We give our thoughts, our impressions, and our takes on basically the world in gaming. We try and keep it light and fluffy. Just 3 friends, just basically, talking shit about Stadia as you do on a YouTube channel. I wouldn't go as far as to say we're a hit, but that's very humbling to hear. So thank you very much. And we should definitely mention now we're on the show. We take most of our news segments from Dan and yourself channel. I don't think we would have such a structured show if it wasn't for your guys' great work over on Stadia Source. So big thank you from us for that as well.
Honestly, since we found Stadia Source, building the show every week has been so much easier.
Yes, copy paste link talk. just make it work so much easier. So massive thank you for that. We wouldn't be here without you.
Absolutely, and we're certainly glad to hear you. Carl's going to be the hot topic later this night, so stick around for his interview later in the show. But we're glad you're here as well to talk Stadia news with us. Let's start off, as we always do, with what have you been playing this week? So I'll kick it off with the Stadia Pro games that hit this weekend. I tried a little bit of Kona, which is really trippy and snowy, and I've been hitting a lot of Celeste. I made it to the summit in Celeste. I hope it's not a spoiler alert that in a mountain climbing game your goal is to get to the top of the mountain. But if it is, spoiler alert, you try to get to the top of the mountain. And so I did that, and I consider that a massive accomplishment. Something like 950 deaths, and I only caught like 12 of the strawberries because I don't care. But I made it, and that's an accomplishment in my book. Dan, what have you been playing?
I had a quick go on just Shapes and Beats. My nephew was around yesterday, and he saw it and saw the pretty colours and was like, "I want to play that." So trying to play that for the very first time with a 5-year-old is not very. It didn't make sense, if you know what I mean, to him. So I had to kind of figure it out for myself. Other than that, I had a quick game on Power Rangers with him as well. Other than that, I've not been playing much. I've been hard at work, so as is always the case.
we catch Dan between major projects. Ash, how about you?
For me, it's been a mix between Mortal Kombat. Yes, Mortal Kombat. I was going to say something else then. So Mortal Kombat and The Crew 2, mainly because on the 26th, I believe, we get to unlock 2 versions of the DeLorean as well as kit from Knight Rider. I need those cars.
You're all about. I still say they gotta something's gotta happen when you hit 88 miles an hour, or I'm gonna be terribly disappointed. Andy Morphs, you are exactly correct. It is an all-star lineup tonight with folks from the incredible podcast Sounds of Stadia, and of course, Perfect Legend there in the corner. Lee, what have you been playing?
Surprisingly, Assassin's Creed Odyssey again.
Lily is now entering our 742 in Greece.
But I have reached the point. I have surpassed level 50. I've finished the Legacy of the First Blade DLC, and I'm happy. I'm leaving it there. So I've now moved on. I'm playing a lot of F1 2020 now. That's my new focus.
Carl, I know you've been doing a little bit of Mortal Kombat, but what else have you been playing on Stadia this week, or anywhere else?
Yeah, honestly, I've been just playing Mortal Kombat, just testing stuff on Stadia, just really trying to compare to where else I've played Mortal Kombat, and I've just been having a blast. I'm probably going to stream the story mode on Stadia just to play through it in general. But later, I'm going to play Orcs Must Die. Like, I've been hearing a lot about it, and it's been looking really good every time I look at it. And also taking advantage of all the free games you get with Stadia. So I'm going to get those. Panzer Dragoon, I'm looking forward to playing again. I haven't played it since the Dreamcast days, so I'm going to be on that.
People get you get a little bit of hell for that because it was like, it's who cares? I'm like, come on, it's Dreamcast. They give us, I tell you what, they give us Nights into Dreams from the ridiculous Saturn. Like,
yeah,
mind absolutely blown if that ends up happening.
Yeah.
Chris, what's been on your playlist this week?
I've been all over the place with games. I'm still chipping away at Monster Boy for our Saturday Let's Play series that I'm doing. That game is so deceptional. It's so just, he's a friendly Saturday morning cartoon game, side-scroller platformer. Those amazing ones you remember back from the Sega days and Nintendo days. And boy, that game is a bitch. It beats you up so much, so many times with no instructions or help. But I'm having a blast playing through that. Played some more Orcs Must Die 3 because that game, definitely check that out. Perfect Legend, because it is just so fun. It's
I can't wait, man.
It's just mindless, just hack and slash kill.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Kill orcs. It's so fun. It's so good, man. And then I've been touching on Ghost of Tsushima. That's an amazing one of my Game of the Year contenders as well. Definitely won't disregard that. And what was the other game we got? Oh, I jumped in a bit of Metro as well, just to check out how different it was from Exodus that we got earlier in the year as well. But primarily.
Ghost is on Google Stadia?
No.
Okay.
I don't play exclusively that, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm playing. I thought you meant just on Google Stadia, but yeah, I've been playing a lot of that too. Yeah,
One
I totally get you.
Someday we're gonna get, hopefully, fingers crossed. Bjorn Bjornsson agrees with you that Orcs Must Die is awesome. So you've got his beardy approval right there in the corner.
And it's free.
Yeah, and it's free. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Yeah,
we've got a couple of live streams on it.
Yeah,
so good. Good.
We've attempted a stream on us, and this was before Dom and I had figured out some very key OBS settings. So you'll never see the footage from that ever, ever.
Well, it's okay. When we streamed it, Richie had internet problems, so he ended up trying to play it on his Google Pixel phone while I was doing the OBS side of things. So technical issues all over the house. Don't worry about it.
Did you at least hook up a controller, or were you using touch controls? Because that would have been
controller.
hilarious.
Definitely. It was definitely a controller. I think I actually had two issues on that evening. One, my ISP was letting me down massively, and it was a bit of one of them. It just kind of hid the main issue where I just bought a new PC, and the antenna in the wireless, and one of the antennas in my wireless card wasn't installed properly. It's one of them. I literally moved my PC down after 2 evenings of trying to sort it downstairs so I could plug a cable straight into the router, and I noticed it was loose. Tightened up, and it was perfect.
Sometimes just a simple thing,
Isn't that just how that works? How about you, Richie? Now that you have properly functioning Wi-Fi, what have you been playing?
Honestly, mainly Ghost of Tsushima. It's been quite a quiet week for me in gaming this week, but tonight, actually, finished up about an hour ago, I did a first look of Corner on as a live stream.
That it's a nutty game, isn't it? Like, what did you think?
It's pretty trippy. The one problem I had is because I was playing as a live stream, I wasn't spending enough time reading things, so I kind of got lost a lot. It's very snowy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then that's the narrator and Richie turned on his car and moved over to the key. I'm like, you don't have to tell me that I can't get out of the car. I get that you're not letting me out of the car. Yeah. It's fine. We've got a bit of news this week. Kind of a little light news week. If you've seen our other coverage of things like crowd play, which has been all the rage, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more this week. kind of an interesting little development. Bomberman, Super Bomberman R online got rated on Peggy. And in the description of the game, it said, Bomberman is a free-to-play online game, blah, 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 blah. Which immediately, raised some red flags for us. It was like, nobody has ever said free-to-play on that. And that's kind of interesting. I know I've been looking forward to this game. We'll talk about kind of the aftermath of that, but what do you guys think? Free-to-play as in legit free-to-play? Free-to-play as in Stadia Pro?
I think it would definitely be Stadia Pro if it was.
Yeah. My slight worry is it could be free to play, as in the mobile game style free to play. Where you can play the game for free for 10 minutes before we start charging you.
Dude, I love Bomberman. I can't. What?
Yeah, and it's gonna have crowd play, which to me, if it's gonna be free,
What?
Not only we're gonna blow Carl's mind all night tonight. Not only is it gonna have free to play, it's gonna have an exclusive Stadia only 64 player mode. So everybody else gets 16, I think, 8 or 16.
Yo,
yeah. So an exponentially larger number of players, literally available on. And so if it's going to be crowd play with the Stadia exclusive features, that to me says Stadia Pro makes a whole lot of sense there, because you would want to show that off.
It's only $19.99, man. Just get that shit.
And that's pretty common. I anytime a new game like Relicta came out this week and it looks super cool and I totally want to play it, but it's also $19.99. So it's just gonna come to Pro. It just is.
I've still got my £10 discount, so I could carry it for cheaper.
I did a dumb thing, and when ESO came out, I was like, "Oh, I need this edition," so I bought it and I used the 10 thing, and I was like, "Oh wait, no, I didn't need that edition. Refund," and so I lost the credit.
Can you buy a monthly, say just for 1 month to give to somebody to be able to use for Pro? Is that?
Not at the moment. Yeah,
we had a buddy pass thing back in Christmas where you got so many codes to kind of distribute out to other people, but it's gone on the down low for now. In terms of actual just giving out a code, that's not really a thing, but I'd imagine it's something they'll work in the future quite easily.
Buy a Google Play card or something.
Yeah.
Give them that way.
Yeah, you can, but you can pay for the Stadia Pro using Google Play credit. So if you do the opinion rewards, or if somebody, that's all I asked for Christmas this year. I was like, just give me Google Play gift cards. It's the only thing I care about.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay, Google Play cards. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then that also works to buy the games too.
Yeah,
so if you buy something that's not.
As long as you've got a specific amount, because
I'm gonna get some cards and give them away.
Yeah, we've been given a few ways, like gifts, just like £10 free gift with if you're in the stream, but you need to have the specific amount. So that £10 discount Richie's referring to, Tom and our team unfortunately bought the one-hand clapping open beta access for £2.49. It used the full £10 discount for the £2.49 game. So
it's £10 off your next game, regardless what it is.
Yeah.
That's the danger there. We know they've got a system for it because they've got. I have a Lenovo Chromebook Duet, which is a killer tablet, by the way. I keep meaning to review it for the site as a gaming device. And this past month, they said anybody who's bought a Chromebook, basically in the past X months, gets 3 free months of Stadia Pro. Normally with those offers, you have to be a brand new first time. You can't be a member or whatever else. But I redeemed it. It gave me the code. I threw that on my account, and I'm not paying for Stadia until November. So we know they have the concept of redeem a code for free months of Pro. So we're just maybe at some point we'll get the little cards next to the Facebook bucks at the checkout stand at the grocery store or something. One can only hope. So the interesting thing on this, though, is shortly after we saw that, we posted about it, Cloudy, a bunch of other sites posted about this rating coming out, and then it just mysteriously disappeared from the website. So do we think it's because they said stuff they weren't supposed to, and Konami or Google reached out? It's interesting. Well, I don't know that we've ever seen a game rated and then pulled, at least on Stadia.
See, Dan knows.
Yeah, go ahead, Ash. You can go for it.
Dan knows how strongly I felt about my opinion was about this subject, which was that if Peggy rated it, there was no reason for what they're saying not to be true. Obviously, being one of the top rating companies out there, they would obviously get all the right information from Stadia or the devs or wherever. Most likely have it double checked before it actually goes live by themselves and who it comes from. So my opinion of it at the time was that when it got pulled, they either said released it too early, saying that it's free to play, or they weren't meant to add that part in just yet. Which since then, we've had an email come back from Konami themselves stating, "Thank you for getting in contact with us. We're looking into this," and stated that at a later date there will be a price for it, so it won't be free to play, as well as the release date.
They basically put it down to misinformation because obviously the developers / publishers have to send a copy of the specifications for a game to Peggy, to ESRB. Obviously, they will do their own checks as well and play a little bit of the game, but for the most part, the information comes from the actual developers themselves or publishers themselves. So if they've sent them something wrong saying it's going to be free to play, ESRB will just post that regardless of whether it's true or not because they, that's what they've been told. So, yeah, we did put a big speculation warning above it just in case, it's not going to be free to play. We don't want anybody to get upset if we say it's free and then the day it releases it's actually not. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see nearer the time.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
I think. I do have an interesting question with them. With it stating free to play, do you technically class the people in the chat as playing, who are throwing bombs at your characters and stuff? They are playing the game.
No, that's a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch.
I mean, influencing the game, right? No less than a multiplayer character would.
Yeah. But even then, if it's crowd play and free to play, then that means anybody can pull up a stream, hit go, say I'm doing Super Bomberman, and then just queue those 64 people up like nobody's business. I think even if they weren't, maybe Peggy didn't have it right, take the hint. Like, go do it. Make it free to play and, or at least free on Stadia Pro, and then just open up the gates on crowd play. There's nothing saying we're not going to get crowd play at launch. I'm pretty sure on the Stadia Connect they were kind of like, with crowd play, so I don't know why that wouldn't come at launch.
If it's pro at launch, I'd imagine they're doing it to showcase crowd play.
Yeah. I think it's be the perfect game for it, wouldn't it? This would be the perfect game. That 64-player online mode. Yeah. And you bring that game out, Stadia Pro, alongside crowdplay, would be just the perfect game for it.
Just all the bombs. Give me all the bombs.
Maybe they just didn't want it released, like the announcement to be made, because it kind of ruins, the big announcement later down the line, which I will go out on a limb and say that Stadia Source and a few other sites are renowned for ruining the surprise, but that's just what we do, I guess. Yeah. If we see some news, we have to post it, so...
We're your number one source for all news. Just whether you want to hear it or not, if you're subscribed to our RSS feed, you're getting it. That's all there is to it. So, from news that might be spoiled to news that's kind of sad, we did get a bit of an update on Baldur's Gate 3 and the release date shenanigans on that. So, Larian Studios posted earlier this week... and you can check out the story. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up, and it's wanting to pull up like my Outlook, and I don't want to show y'all my work email. It's Larian Studios posted an update this week that said, "Hey guys, we're not going to hit August." And in their earlier video on it, they said early access in August, maybe. So the maybe isn't going to happen, but that's okay. But they are going to do a Panel from Hell stream, along with Jeff Keighley and the Larian crew on August 18th. And during that time, they're going to tell us the launch date. So sometime between, I would say sometime between now, on August 18th, we're going to get the launch date for Baldur's Gate 3. Anybody looking, I know I'm looking forward to this. Who else is like, this is top of my list?
It was at one point, but for me, I'm a massive fan of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, but Baldur's Gate 3 looks more like Divinity Original Sin rather than Baldur's Gate, and it kind of put me off a little bit. But I'm also not overly fond of early access anyway, so I'm happy to wait and see what the game is when it comes out properly.
You mean your experiences with one hand clapping have not sold you on early access as a concept?
I haven't played it yet. Or Ember.
I mean, it's definitely top for me. I kind of sort of agree with you on the early access concept. Like, I want the game to be done enough that I don't feel like I'm getting a not done game. And there's no real telling on early access.
I'd say with early access, that's the worst the game is ever going to be available publicly.
Yeah.
So if you want a good experience, probably not go then.
But then again, the game is like £2 or something, so it's
oh
not
yeah, one hand
breaking the
clapping
bank,
is one
is it?
thing.
So-
Baldur's Gate's a completely different story, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't high. One hand clapping. Y'all
they're
can
not in the
watch my
same-
video on one hand clapping.
Yeah.
And see how I feel about that one.
And listen
Just
to
does
it.
the
Don't
Halo
forget
theme
listen to
tune.
it.
And listen, just put me on mute and use the auto-generated captions, and it's just gonna be over and over again. Perfect Legend, did you play any Baldur's Gate back in the day?
I've never played Baldur's Gate. I've never played it. I don't know what it's about or anything.
It's
I'll
a
give you the rundown.
D&D. Yeah, go for it, Chris.
Because I too have never played it. From watching the trailers, there's this big octopus guy who looks like Davy Jones. He's chased by loads of characters who look like goblin kind of things. He can fly a giant space rock, and it looks like a lot of crazy fun. But that's all I've took away from it, as of having not played the originals too. So when Richie says it's like Divinity, that could be good or bad. I have no idea.
I've never played it either. Yeah, I have
But
no
I'll
idea.
definitely be checking it out.
So now that you've read the official summary on Steam, what do you actually think the game's about? It's a D&D, it's set in the D&D rule set, and it's so back in the day, like I loved Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, like those were my games. I love those games. So I'm excited about this one, despite the fact that, this nerdy self that you see here hasn't actually played D&D in like 10 years. Hit me up, we'll get a game going, Roll20, post in the chat. But so I'm looking forward to this, but I'm in that kind of sort of same boat. I'll probably get it. I'll probably get it anyways. Whether or not I want to wait, I'll probably still get it. So it is what it is. We heard about a couple of other interesting developments in the Stadia universe this week. Borderlands 3 was chosen for their free play days. It's a brand new feature to Stadia. Certainly something that we're familiar with based on other. Twitch does the straight, Steam does this and stuff, but we've never had the concept of, hey, give it a try for free other than Stadia Pro, particularly not on a game that is generally $60 US, like always. So I've already played through and completed Borderlands 3, but what do you guys think about this? This seems to me like a necessary step for Stadia.
Absolutely, yeah. We've needed free to play for a while because we've had a few events in the PlayStation and the Xbox communities, and then everybody's questions have been, when are we going to get one for Stadia? And then Stadia turn around and say, no, we're not, and there's a whole sigh from everybody. So this obviously paves the way for future free plays as well for other games. So Borderlands is a massive game. It's hella fun. So jump in if you've got Pro.
I've never played it, so it's something I'll be able to use.
Now that you're given Assassin's
over the
Creed
weekend.
a break, yeah.
Well, that's it, yeah, that could be it. That could be my new game. But as you said, Dan, it's Xbox do it quite well, don't they? They have free play weekends all the time, and it's a similar thing. You get to play it for the weekend, and the game's at a discount if you then want to go.
And they keep your progress as well. So if you do decide that you like it and you want to buy it, you can just carry on from where you were on the free play day.
Definitely a huge step in the right direction for Stadia, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's on sale. So if you do like it during the weekend, you can get it for cheaper.
Smart move.
It's great marketing all around. Like, you get a free game, it allows people to try it out, and then if they want to continue playing, again, there's no additional hardware you need to get. There's no additional downloads you need to get. It's a case of, if you enjoy playing it, just log in again, but buy it, and it's yours. Continue. It's fantastic marketing, and having a big title like this, I think it needs to happen because it just gets people in the door. And like Lee's saying, I'm going to try it out because I've never played it. That could be the entry for another sale, another user, and the user base grows, which just means there's more people to play the game, which is better for everyone. It's what you want.
Now, do you go for it, Ash?
See, for me, I have got 1, 2, and the prequels through Steam, just through one of its sales in the past, just because they're decent sales, to be honest. But I've never really been that interested when I've played them. But with this being essentially like a free demo of sorts, you've not really got much of an excuse not to give it a go anyway. And like I said, if I did then like it, I could then buy it. and then I do still have my £10 discount to a side as well.
So Ash hasn't bought anything in quite some time.
I'm
so
saving
what do you?
that.
Yeah, you know, what do you guys think about? You have to get the free play weekend. You do have to have Stadia Pro, which I get. I kind of understand. They want you to put down a credit card even if you're going to cancel it later, because maybe you'll forget to cancel it and they still get their $10 or
like my
pounds or
missus
whatever else.
this month.
Yeah. It's just, hey, you got 2 accounts. You can play together finally because we don't have family sharing yet.
She goes, why has Stadia charged me this month? I was like, did you not cancel it? She was like, no. Well, I guess you got Stadia Pro for the next 2 months. Then.
Enjoy downloading those next set of free games.
Stadia,
do you think that's how they get you? Do you think that Pro first is a good choice there? Do you think that we're going to end up seeing legitimately free play on games for folks who have not signed up for Pro?
Yeah,
Eventually.
I certainly do.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
Again, the wider you can cast the net, the more chance you've got of like grabbing a few people who, like you said, get in on the subscription model and just kind of stick with it. If they get in on Pro on a good month with a trial for free, it's just, again, it just opens the door to people being aware of this thing. And I know Perfect Legend referred to it a few times, just saying that your eyes have kind of been opened up just to what it can do and how easy it is. And we'll obviously talk about that a little bit later on. But the more you can, because again, they're not really doing much marketing at the moment. So the more they can just get out there, the more opportunity you've got. So it's a win-win.
Yep. Legend, I know you're big. Obviously, you kind of like fighting games. I get the feeling.
a little bit.
But what do you feel about like looter shooters? Are you a Borderlands fan? Have you tried any of those, like Destiny 2, that kind of stuff?
I've never played Borderlands. I played Destiny. I love Destiny. I've actually watched someone play Borderlands. I don't know how it feels, but based on whatever they were doing, it looks like it feels good. Destiny feels just like Halo, but obviously I know why it feels like that. But it felt great, and I was like, hey, I'm actually really just connected to Google servers. I'm not connected to anything else, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of trippy for it to. And then when I play Attack on Titan, the same thing. Like, and on Attack on Titan, I did a couple like missions. I jumped around and flew around with the hooks and all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm still connected to a damn server. This is not a console or anything. It's crazy. It's like telling me I'm in heaven, right? I'm not saying it's that great. I'm just like, really? Like, I didn't think that this would be possible. I remember cartridges and having to blow them and pray and hope they work and shit. And now I have to be like, I'm going to connect to your thanks, Google. I appreciate that. Like, I just played with a friend of mine who's in California, and we connected, and it says 60 ping. How is it 60 ping? How? I played with somebody on PS4 who's a friend who lives in my city. We had 60 pings. This shit is sorcery. Do they have
and now we're back to Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. And yeah, now we're back to Baldur's Gate. And you know, who doesn't love some Davy Jones? It's a familiar account.
If you want me to give you a rundown of Borderlands 3, there's this Davy Jones cartoon character who looks so nice, it doesn't really.
And you know, Victor, I will say hi to you for once, because you say using a popular game like Borderlands 3 as a free trial provides a good comparison for gamers on other platforms. That's the other thing. We all know big in the news right now is xCloud, the launch on September 15th. And I tweeted today, if you can't play Stadia, you can't play xCloud. They have less stuff, less servers, less edge nodes. So it's not going to work for you if Stadia doesn't work for you. But this is a perfect way for people to go, well, I like Borderlands. And you're saying it's free, and I can just, all I got to do is put down a credit card, get a free trial. That's cool. Hey, wait a minute. What are all these other games that I can claim for free? Like, Zombie Army 4, that's kind of cool. I've seen that streamed, and, you know, whatever else. Just Shapes and Beats, that looks interesting. And so, yes, it's absolutely a perfect in for getting folks on other platforms to legitimately give Stadia a try. I think that's the thing that's been missing, is a reason for them to... hell, why not? Like, we haven't had an hell, why not moment yet, even with the free, months. So.
I think if you've already got, like, your credit card attached to, the Google Play Store anyway, what's your problem, really? So just try it.
You have nothing to lose other than the $9.99 if you forget to cancel. But other than that, set a reminder. Use the Google Assistant. It's right there. Set a reminder. We also know that it's just part of 2K Games' commitment to Stadia. We got announced. We saw another Peggy rating this week, or this one in ESRB for Borderlands the pre-sequel. Falls in between 1 and 2. And we had just seen Borderlands 2 Game of the Year went up on USK, I think. A short while back, or it might have been Peggy. And so 2K Games is clearly they're in for a penny, in for a pound on Stadia. And they make, like, Borderlands 3 was a huge game. All of the Borderlandses that have come out so far are huge games. So having this developer really going hard for Stadia is a great thing.
Do you think we're going to see the Handsome Collection?
Yeah, I think we'll see a collection. I think it's going to come in some form of collection. Yeah. Even obviously we've got the pre-sequels coming, 2's coming. I would still love to see the original, because the original Borderlands is special. I remember picking that game up the first day it came out, and I played it, and I remember phoning up my friend. I said, "No, you've got to go to the game shop after you finish work and buy this game. This is absolutely fantastic. You're going to love this." And we did. It's been an absolute blast. We played it for hours and hours and weeks.
Same, yeah.
And so I would love to see I know they remastered the original as well, so I'd love to see it come on to Stadia as well. Just have the whole collection on there.
Yeah, they're definitely games I recommend playing with other people. I played through 1, 2, and the pre-sequel with my brother, and it was an absolute blast. But I definitely, I think the Handsome Collection, it's got to come.
For some reason, I couldn't get into the pre-sequel, but I don't know why. But I've loved every other game, but the pre-sequel, I got about halfway through, and I was like, I can't be bothered to finish this for some reason. So,
and they, I mean, obviously, we know they've got strong support for the system, because we're getting Mafia, we're getting 2K Battlegrounds, WWE, we're getting 2K21, all those games. But there's a bunch of stuff in their catalog, which are kind of kick-ass games that, like Civ. The Civilization series is in the 2K Games catalog, and that is a game that will melt your computer if you let it get just so far on the high enough settings. So to have that in Stadia and just let it run would be amazing. The BioShock series, XCOM, like, they've got a lot of stuff in their library that we would really do well to have.
I'd like to see them be brave and just go, right, this game can only be played mouse and keyboard, or this game can be only played controller, because they haven't done that yet. It's usually a combination. For something like Civ, you can't realistically play that well with a controller, so it'd be a great get for Stadia, because it means that it could introduce console gamers to PC gamers without PC hardware, and PC hardware is very expensive.
We've had this debate on the chat before, haven't we, about the fact that Stadia force developers to support mouse, keyboard, and controllers.
Yeah.
So we can't imagine that. I mean, they've got to change that at some point in the future, especially if they want to expand their library to games that aren't suitable for one or the other. But for now, we're stuck with it.
It's either going to be because the entry point if you want to play on your TV is the controller, so you have to have the Stadia controller until Sabrina, supposedly with Bluetooth access. So unless they decide they want to come out with a Wi-Fi mouse and keyboard, hint hint wink wink Google if you're watching, which would be a great way to solve that problem. I don't know how you would get it to connect to your actual but it could be useful. I just noticed that the little cultist is just like chilling out under Chris and saying hi right now on the screen. We also got a little bit of a delay on Serious Sam 4 coming out in September now. I was originally targeting August, but coming out in September now. Steam and Stadia. Guys, looking forward to this game.
Serious Sam games have always been fun, haven't they? So
I've enjoyed the collection on Stadia. I think I'm halfway through the second one, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. It's just good fun. As Dan said, it's just a good fun game to play, isn't it?
And it's another opportunity for hopefully Stadia to show off some of the stretch power and throw 7 bazillion of these little creatures on screen at one time.
For that, if I can kill a bunch of just. You guys ever played a game like Dynasty Warriors? Wouldn't a game like that be?
Oh yes.
Oh god, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Rather than them spawning in groups like they used to on the old platforms.
It'd be the entire army just come out in full force. You just running through slashing and stuff.
Going back to the PC stuff, Total War games for that sort of thing, where you've got thousands of characters. You could actually have like full-size armies.
Yeah. I'm sure we've all been there where we've made our own custom maps in the past. We've put far too many characters on.
Yeah,
we
man.
play
Yeah.
the game, and everyone just freezes and locks up because of how
Yeah.
many
Age of Empires
things.
3
2.
frames
Yeah.
per second.
Yeah.
As a kid, you don't think that how your PC.
Yeah, you're like,
can
why
cope
is
with
this
it.
happening?
Yeah, I'm there peppering the map with characters, just dropping them in left, right, and center.
Yeah.
You go right, go live, crash, everything breaks. So yeah, Stadia would alleviate that hopefully.
That's kind of the point.
That's the dream.
We also got
That's the
a
dream.
That's the dream. We got a couple of patches heading out. Wave Break just had a huge patch that solved some of the. A lot of folks were saying, the rounds are too short. Sorry, my phone decided it wanted to ring in the middle of my podcast. The rounds are too short. The game's too hard. The grinding's too hard. We don't know what the stuff in the gym does. And they've listened to all of that feedback. So it sounds like they did a huge patch that fixed a lot of that stuff, hopefully. As well as Orcs Must Die 3 getting a big patch, and Zombie Army 4 having a big content drop. So Stadia's keeping up. We're still seeing new stuff come out all the time on these on these games.
Did the Orcs Must Die 3 patch wipe the leaderboards again, or was that just the first time round?
I believe every patch seems to be wiping the leaderboard so far.
Really?
So,
I thought it was just going to be a one-off.
This next patch is going to land on August 10th per Reddit. We'll do a handy-dandy screen share there. And there's going to be
article about that.
weekly challenges, adding new weekly combats. There will be scores on the leaderboard for each challenge. Leaderboards will be frozen, so that you can stay rank 1 throughout the entire time. Tons of bug fixes. They don't mention in the chat, unless they say as one of the comments that they're going to wipe the leaderboard, but they did last time, so maybe.
Last time when
there is
they
something
patched
on
the
it.
leaderboard itself, though.
Yeah, I think there was a bug or something on the leaderboard, and the only way they could fix it, they had to wipe it.
Yeah, it was the multiplayer and single player scores were
Yeah,
shown up on the same
that's
one,
right.
I believe, which makes sense. But I was worried it was going to be like a regimental thing, like every time, fresh slate, here we go, which obviously isn't future-proof in the game at all. So it's good to know that it's not necessarily happening this time around.
So, you heard it here last. I did not know the right answer on that one, so we'll find out. We also had Ari and the Secret of Seasons got a release date, so that one is coming out. I had it in the notes, and then I took it out of the notes. Anybody have that handy? All right, it's on. You can find out on StadiaSource.com.
September 1st.
September
for
20th.
other
September.
platforms.
That's
Yeah.
right, September 1st. And then, so possible pro game. It's another
Well,
one
it's
that-
not-
Stadia later.
Yeah,
We're
it's
getting
coming
it
to Stadia
later.
at a later date.
Set
So
on a date for Stadia.
So it's hashtag day and date again. This game it looks fun and cool, but it's not like a Cyberpunk where us not getting it on the day and date is a problem. It looks cute, but I don't know that I am worried about that.
How much of the naming convention do you think went down to Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Ori and the Blind Forest? It's like when you read that out there, I immediately just thought it sounded like roll off the tongue. It's the same word. Ori. It's going for it.
It's awfully
It looks
darn
like some
close.
Pixar stuff.
They know what they're
Yeah,
doing over at
it's-
Modus.
It's kind of got that. It's got that cartoony. Almost a little bit of like a Krata look to it. Granted, I guess it's not their look. It's their Fortnite look or whatever else. But the infamous Lee reach out to confirm that, and unfortunately, will be a little bit later. And the Ari and the Secret of Seasons person does not own a Stadia controller, and therefore can't even try it using the Stadia controller when it does launches. I can't make sentences. My word.
tut.
So
You'd
Still
think if
looks-
you're
still
developing a game in part for Stadia, that the development studio should have a couple of controls lying around. They're not that expensive.
No.
you would hope that would just come with the dev kit.
As she said in the message there, they're not actually handling the Stadia version. They've ported it out to another studio.
Fair enough.
And she didn't say which studio it was. She just said that they're not in charge of the Stadia port.
Let's hope they got one then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
The day of release, it doesn't even work on Stadia controllers.
Modus Games
Oh,
is just
dear.
sitting there with 2 disconnected Switch Joy-Cons trying to make things work and failing miserably at the task. So, a lot of news, for the week. So, hey, always good to see new, fun, cool stuff coming to Stadia. So, you know what, guys? Get your Reservoir Dogs and the buttons for your backpack. It's time for the hot topic. That's right. I'm doing it. We're keeping it all the time. I'm keeping that joke. Carl, Perfect Legend White, a stellar competitor on the Evo scene, on the competitive gaming, particularly with Dead or Alive and Mortal Kombat. Those appear to be your games to win or lose right there. Tell us a little bit about your history with gaming and how you got into the pro circuit, and give us the legend of Perfect Legend.
All right. Well, I mean, man, I've been playing competitively for 15 years, but I started in arcades. When I first started playing games, I was like 3 years old. First game I ever played was Tetris on Game Boy, but I had played Street Fighter 2 one day, and then I was playing Mortal Kombat 1. I was 4 years old, by the way. And then eventually MK2 came out, and I went to the arcade, and I had my taste of like competition in any form where people put their quarters up and you play against each other. And I was the kid beating all the adults and stuff. Like, if there were any time of the day, like either when I got out of kindergarten or right before I would go to sleep, we would go to the arcade, which is also a family restaurant, and just play until they closed. And we would repeat this process every day. But I took those habits with me throughout my entire life, and it, definitely escalated and went into competitive. And competitively, I was like, well, I want to prove I'm good. I wasn't thinking like, yeah, I want to do this and it's going to jump from this to that. It was like, all right, well, this is the next step. I'm here. I'm going to go do this. And that it just kept spiraling kind of out of control. And now we're here.
Well, fantastic. And by the way, chat, if you've got any questions for Perfect Legend, drop those in the chat and we'll take some audience questions as well. So I know you have clearly jumped into Stadia and you seem like you're enjoying it just a little bit. Tell us, how did you get into Stadia and how did it come across for you?
Well, I've always had my ear open for it. At first, I'm not going to lie, I was definitely a non-believer because I was like, man, they could never do that because what? The connection is going to be bad and blah, blah, blah. Like, commonly, me and other players will think like, well, if it's not connected through a hard wire, how else are you gonna, but the way they have it set up, we connect to them. And it's like any tournament players that are listening, they probably know what I'm talking about. But when we have like a setup at an event, we have like the console, the monitor, the controllers, the game, etc. And then we play. And since we're sitting side by side, we get to play the game in its best form because it's offline or whatever, right? We can't do that right now because of COVID. But with this, we can do something kind of similar to that. We're all at home, but we're connecting to their server to play. Instead of us having the game and then we're trying to connect to each other, we're connecting to them and they're setting it up. And that's why we'll get like almost a near as perfect as possible feed. And the game feels so good. Like, I after playing like Destiny and like Mortal Kombat and Attack on Titan a little bit, I was like, okay, I'll keep my eyes on it, and then I'm seeing like, okay, crowd play finally demoed because I've been waiting on seeing it, and then I realized I was like, wow, this is just like when I was going to the arcade as a kid. You come up, instead of putting a quarter up to stand in line, you just click the button. Yeah, I'm in line, and it can queue up as many as you want from anywhere. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you can like limit it to just followers, limit it to like your area or whatever. But that opens up so much. It's a whole new game type. So like King of the Hill, which is a lobby, you just get a bunch of people in. Normally it's capped at 8 people, including you, the host. So it's like 1 and 7. Now it's you, the streamer, and anybody can queue up just by watching you play and watching your stream. And then when you queue up and you're next in line, you press the button, it loads the game up for you and you play. All for $19.99. I mean, I'm not sure how crowd play works, if you have to be a pro or not, or if you even need Stadia. But the way it's set up, regardless, it's only $19.99. I don't want anyone complain. If you complain about that, I'm not trying to hear. That's a whole pizza. Like, that's a large pizza, $20. I'm not trying to hear any complaints about that. And it's already doing PS5 quality stuff, everything already. when PS5 and Xbox Series release, guess what? That's their max. That's it. They can't go any higher. They have to build a whole new hardware. But for Google Stadia is like, yep, I'm just upgrade my servers, and that's it. And the possibilities are like endless. This is unlimited potential unless like the Earth explodes or something. I don't see like this going away anytime soon. And then for FPS games,
it is 2020.
Yeah, you know what, you're right. Yeah,
Don't jinx it.
we do got a whole pandemic out here, but besides that, as long as we stay safe, I don't see it going anywhere. So like, it's like if say tomorrow the standard was 8K, Google would be like, all right, I'm gonna just upgrade the shit right now. Everybody else will be like, well, back to the drawing board, got to get the processors. And no, Google will just upgrade that shit. Like a tournament, for example, if say COVID goes away and we host a tournament, you could be like, all right, well, I'll just log into Chromecast on all of these monitors instead of having to have this set up, got to buy all these different hardwares. Like TO spend like $300 to $500 on console or per console for like damn near like 20 different consoles and stuff. That's on top of having to rent internet and all the extra stuff. Like I still can't believe this is real and I'm talking about it. But that's how good it is. Like the games are at PC quality. Like I'm watching Mortal Kombat at 60 frames per second. Like I played the game on PC. I had just played on PS4 and it feels the same to me. Like I have notes where like your favorite streamer, you just connect to them and play with them if they want to play with you and they're doing the mode. But it's like, why are more people not talking about this? I don't get it. Like
that is what we're saying every week on Stadiasaurus.com.
Yeah, it's not even just a why not. It's a fuck it. Get on this shit. It's why not?
Get your free month.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got tons of experience playing on, playing Mortal Kombat games offline or on traditional consoles. How does as a pro gamer, the twitch, the feeling, it's all super important, the latency. How does playing Mortal Kombat, I think out of all of us, you're probably the best person to tell us how it feels in the hand, and what is the comparison between playing, console PC versus playing Stadia?
All right, well, it feels... I don't want to say exactly the same, and then people are like, no, you're wrong. But it feels damn near exactly the same. Like, before I played with my friend who's in California, I played with my friend who's here in Toledo, Ohio. And I played him on PS4. And just right after that, I went and played my friend on Stadia in California. And I'm like, we both have 60 ping. The game on PS4 told me I had like 60 to 80 ping with the guy from Toledo. Stadia said 60 to 80 ping with the guy. I was like, how is that possible? I've flown, looked at the mountains from the window and seen them for hours and went to his house and play games from there too. I know how far it is. And the connection was good. But I'm playing on a PS4 controller. I only have a Google Stadia controller. So I'm feeling like, I guess, the delay I'll get for this, but it's not even that much. When I played Juggernaut the other day, and crowd play, my controller had been like over synced with different stuff because I connected to my PC and PS4, so it was like overloaded with signal, so I had to reset it. But I didn't do that when I play him, so I felt a little bit more latency when I play him. So I need to do another like crowd play demonstration so I can feel that. But at least from direct connect using Stadia to someone else, it's just as good. Like it's fine. It's equal. Fuck that. Like. When am I going to play offline again? I'm not. Like, if I'm playing online, this is the best I can get. Like, I don't know. Like, I need to do crowd play myself versus a bunch of people and see how it is. Also, when you do crowd play, can you set it to where they can't play unless they're on like a wired, like Ethernet? Can you do that?
Not at the moment. It's basically if they click the join button, they go in queue. You can say members, non-members if you have a monetized channel, but that seems to be about it in terms of settings right now.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. Well, I mean, we can't. I'm not a tester, so I can't try it yet. But when we ever
neither are we.
Okay.
Stadia.
Y'all need to hook them up. Like, what are y'all doing? They're covering this.
They're focusing on the games right now. They're getting us the games first.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay, that's a good trade-off, the games. But still, man, they gotta have y'all on the services too.
We spoke to Juggernaut after he was on our show last week, and he was kind of explaining, obviously, that you can limit it to subscribers only or members only.
Mm-hmm.
He says at this point in time, it is kind of still a work in progress, so he hasn't got the final version of it. So you might find that you will have more options later down the line to customize that.
Okay.
A couple of things I want to say. One of them's just an observation. One of them's a question as well to you, Carl. First of all, it's great, obviously, to see your enthusiasm for Stadia and the fact that you obviously came from a place of like non-belief to belief.
Yeah.
And we get that so much in the community. And if there's one thing we could say, and we've been saying this since day one, is just try it. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that you kind of mimic that sentiment as well is brilliant. The second is this question, and that is, do you actually see Stadia being used in a competitive environment going forwards, especially when there's a lot of negativity about it in the overall gaming community?
Honestly, man, all you gotta do is host a tournament. Like, all right, I'm hosting a tournament on Google Stadia. You have to have a Stadia to play, and put up some money, and people will play. There's going to be somebody that's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it if no one else is, and then people are going to have that mindset. And those people are going to get in. They're like, oh, fuck, there are people who are going to play. And then it'll grow from that. Because you can sit and deny all you want. Look, the scene that I'm a part of, they're kind of stuck in their ways. They're like, well, we have to play on PlayStation, or we have to play on this. And then, like, sometimes Xbox might be the better hardware for, like, a game or whatever, right? And we might use that. But it all takes is on the organizer. It's not really – it's up to the players, but it's also up to the organizers. Because the players – every player ain't going to organize an event. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I said, hey, me, Perfect Legend, I'm going to do a crowd play. And for, like, the first hour, whoever beats me the most, or if I did something where I host the King of the Hill and I'm just streaming the King of the Hill and I'm hosting it, right? Whoever has the longest streak for, like, an hour, I'll pay them, like, $100 or whatever, right? They clearly have to get the Google Stadia to be able to do that. And that forces them to try it.
Yeah, clearly we've got some folks who are fans who are, you're going to get a lot of subscribers, well, you know, up to a few subscribers tonight. If you're in the chat, by the way, hit that like button down below. Let us know you're
definitely
also
sub to them, y'all. I mean,
Alakazam, you're 100% right. It's the
thanks,
enthusiasm. And I think that's part of what is missing at right now in Stadia is people who are not from Stadia. You know, of course, Stadia Source is going to be a big fan of Stadia. Of course, Sounds of Stadia is going to be a big fan of Stadia. Chris secretly hates it just desperately and really wishes he could have xCloud. But, you know, but
behind
more
him
folks,
is mainly PlayStation games. Not a single Stadia box on that shelf behind him.
I'll play it everywhere. There isn't a Stadia.
Yeah,
box
where are your Stadia? Where are your Stadia cases, man?
They're all around me in the cloud.
Wow, hey.
But that's the reality. We can play any way we want. Like Perfect said that. If you want to just leave your room now and go to a friend's or go in the living room or upstairs or on the toilet, literally anywhere you want to go. We all laugh about it, but we know it's true.
Yeah.
Perfect. Have you ever played?
Never.
Have you ever played Mortal Kombat from the John? Perfect. Now you can with Stadia.
That's
I'm on the toilet right now. I just put my
I like to concentrate when I go there. I'd rather just get my business done.
It might look your game.
Get back to the stream.
Yeah, get back to the stream. I'm not streaming from there. Fuck that. I don't know. It's crowd play from the can. Join me now.
You might get a strike for that, man, depending on where the camera's located. Yeah. But in terms of just the possibilities, like you've enjoyed that one. Have you had a chance to switch screens yet? So have you moved from your PC to the living room or anything?
Dude, that shit's crazy. Yeah, I did that with my friend's house. We was on the big screen, right? And then went to the PC. It's like, man, it's like some magician shit. Like some David Blaine came to the house and was like, all right, put on a different monitor. And you're just like, what the fuck? All you have to do is press play. Like, come on, man. What if you're like, man, I'm tired. I don't feel like sitting in my desk or whatever. I'm going to go lay down. You can lay down and play the game. Just all you need is a controller with maybe the cord or whatever wireless adapter thing you need. I mean, you like playing, I don't know. I'm not really a wireless adapter controller guy. I like the hard wire. But hey, man, if somehow Google channels more of the energy they get from God to make this shit work, then go ahead. Give me a wireless controller with no latency. I'm down.
Well, Chris,
you got to get the Stadia controller. That's
I
it.
do. I haven't.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Chris mentioned earlier the fact that during one of our Optimus Die streams that I literally I played on my browser, I played through my Chromecast and my phone all in one stream because I was trying to find a way with terrible internet to be able to play, but I just kept bouncing between them until I got something that worked.
Yeah. I mean, even this week I was talking about demonstrating Stadia to a friend, and I'm fortunate enough I've got one of the Android phones that currently has Stadia accessibility on it. And I was demonstrating buying Metro Redux, right? That's the one we got. Metro Redux from the store by Play Now, and I was playing it in a hot tub with him at the weekend. Just showcase on 4G, and that's it. And the big thing for me is the quality. Like games like Destiny, Borderlands, Mortal Kombat and stuff, they run. And again, we're talking phones nowadays, come with 4K HD 1080p screens. So the barriers for entry, I remember playing Snake on a phone and being blown away by how much fun you can have that. So the fact that we're taking this like top level AAA quality games, anywhere we want to go with them is phenomenal. It still blows my mind that we can just switch around so freely. And it's only going to get better as internet infrastructure gets better and as the network balances itself out and the users get balanced out. It's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, I remember back in November when Stadia launched, and I recorded a video on this and I put it on my Twitter channel, and it was just me switching from my big screen when I got my Chromecast Ultra to I got a second Chromecast Ultra, so going from a big screen to my monitor, my gaming area, to my laptop, and just switching between the three of them and how fast it was, because it just amazed me when I did it for the first time. And I thought, get my phone out. I have to record this. People need to see what this thing is.
Because they don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. They're like, nah, that's bullshit. Why are you fucking lying?
But it's like, for me,
like, no, for real, I've been like this. Like, I want to jump up and down and shit, but I'm not. Like, I've been containing myself this whole time. Like, for real. Like, after this call, I'm gonna go jump rope for like maybe like 30 minutes or something. But I'm losing my shit with the capabilities. I'm like, give me fucking crowd play. I want to do this shit. I'll be like, hey y'all, pull up, let's play it, or just watch everybody else play and just see how long people like for real. Like when I was trying to queue up with I forget this dude's name, but I queued up 4 times.
Jovian, the other guy.
Yeah, I queued up with him 4 different times. The first one time it like refreshed and then it changed my spot in the thing or in the line. And then I got in and I selected my character and then disconnected. And then I got back in and it was like I was number 2. And then it did the same bullshit and about like refreshing. So then I got back in. I was like, I'm done. That's why I went to Juggernauts, because it was a lot easier to get a match. But I was seeing like just how quick everything was going and how it was working. I was like, dude, that would be crazy. Like, not even just me, anybody. Imagine if Ninja, right, was using this shit and playing Fortnite. All right, guys, you got to queue. Like, come on.
You are 714 out of 6,1203.
Yeah. People waiting there for days trying to get in there.
Someone bring me water. I've been waiting on Dr. Disrespect's stream for hours.
Yeah. Just camping, waiting.
Yeah. See, like for me, I've mentioned this a few times before. The Stadia Source guys have heard it to death. But when the announcement came for Stadia, for me, I was still in retail, traveling from store to store to help out every so often. So I'd take my backpack, put a few days of clothes in there. 80% of the bag would be full of a Xbox One. So you're lugging that around down halfway around the country to then stay in a hotel to be able to play it. Whereas now with Stadia, literally everything they need for Stadia can fit in the front pocket, like snug, small, handy, with console PC graphics.
Yeah,
I travel for work 2-3 days a week or a year when the world's normal, and I have a Switch, and the Switch was just the thing I always took with me, and I haven't even turned it on in 6 months because it's literally just, if I'm going to go to a hotel now, I have with the release of 4G, 5G, I've got a great phone. I have an unlimited data plan on T-Mobile. I'm going to take my controller and a cord and be done with it. So, with the crowd play element, obviously you've given it a try, the ease of getting connected in there. Where do you think crowd play, Legend, where do you think crowd play could kick in I can't phrase this question right in my brain. Where obviously you've given it a shot.
Yeah.
What do you, and you've told us kind of what you think about it. Where do you see that fitting into pro gaming? Where do you see that fitting into the larger gaming universe?
Man, with crowd play, like, okay, because what I was explaining about the King of the Hill, which is really just a lobby of people coming in and pretty much like just arcade. You put the quarter up, you play until you lose and you get knocked off. Stuff like that. They can have King of the Hill tournaments where they have a bunch of people enter, and then you have to like the Royal Rumble. Basically, that's what the fuck it is. Like, you play until the timer goes down, and whoever has the most wins, boom, they win. Something like that. Or even for streamers, like you can have something like the game Fall Guys that just released, right? Say if you could that game. I don't know if you guys have played it. Have you guys played Fall Guys yet? All right, it's free on PS Plus if you do have it right now. But it's a pretty much an obstacle course game. Like 64 people can all play at one time. Like a game like that on Stadia will be ridiculous. The amount of stuff you can see, like there's already a lot of shit on the screen in that game, but they can put even more shit on the screen in that game on Stadia. Like that, there can be, if there's a way I can have my crowd play with me versus someone else's crowd too, like in FPS, you'd be like, all right, Dr. Disrespect versus Ninja's crowd. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like just for streaming, it just opens up more game types, more like ways to interact with the stream, because you already could interact with your favorite streamer, and of course they invite you to the game, but now it's just seamless through the technology. And then like for tournaments, you don't need to buy all this damn hardware to set up setups. Like this makes it easier on tournament organizers' pockets as well. If all I need is a tablet and, like you said, a phone to run this, it's
barrier for entry, isn't it? It's
yeah.
Like if you have like how many people all the millions of people who do watch Ninja and Dr. Disrespect and stuff, like we're all, I'd imagine, quite fortunate to have decent PC setups in game, but there is millions upon millions of people out there, children, adults, whoever, who can't afford the latest tech year in, year out. They can't afford to be involved with it. So they generally watch their favorite streamer instead. There's so many people now more who watch Let's Plays, who get involved. If you can get your cheapest, lowest common denominator and join in and get involved with your biggest influence that you love to watch day in, day out, and probably spend more time watching more YouTubers than they do necessarily television now.
Right.
That's huge. And getting involved, like my big one is the horror franchises. When they get involved, you play a game and your audience throw villains, bad guys, things at you. Yeah, left, right, and center. You're going to have an absolute blast. And they just want to take you down.
Like, go left or go right. And then the crowd's like, we want to go right. And then some shit happens. And then you can be like, crowd, what the hell? Y'all did this. This is the chat's fault.
Got me killed.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my questions that I was going to... I know you were going to let Ash do his question first, but seeing as you just mentioned it there... Perfect. Are you aware of like some of the other options that are coming to Stadia in terms of like crowd choice? So you can obviously let your viewers decide what happens in a game. Are you excited for things like that?
I do, yeah. There's plenty of games where you can just, I mean, even if say I was like, all right, I want to play in the tournament, but I'm gonna let the chat actually play for me. Like shit like that. I think that would be fun to watch. I mean, like, I wouldn't be super like serious about it because obviously it's not me playing, but I think that would be cool as hell and still have like a prize and stuff. Like, if you could have your crowd versus someone else's crowd and just doing like gameplay stuff, man. Just horror games, platforming games, actually any game you could probably do it. I'm pretty sure they'll have like specific games that will be about utilizing that more than other games too. It allows more development decisions and choices and more creativity for publishers and stuff too. I'm looking forward to just the future. It's so many more possibilities than what is possible on normal console.
Yep. And have you played any of Dead by Daylight? That one's coming to Stadia, and it's coming with crowd choice. So the crowd will be able to pick what killer are you going to play, and what abilities you're going to use. It's coming in September, I believe.
That's next month,
with
man.
crowd choice.
Like you
So
said,
clearly-
like, a year from now, yeah, it's coming to September, next month.
We're
So
living in
clearly
the
what you're
future,
saying
baby.
is we're going to need a Perfect Legend versus Stadia Source, Killer versus Team stream together. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I won't be
And
Freddy.
Legend's going to wipe the floor with all of us.
No, man, I play Freddy. Freddy's like low tier, I heard. So like, I'm not. I have to be right next to you to put you to sleep to kill you. If I'm not, then you just run all day. Unless they fix that.
Well, we're going to get it soon. Ash, did you have a question?
Yeah. So my question's for all three of you, and that is, if you could pick any game to come to Stadia to show off Stadia at its highest, what would it be? I'm just going to say for me, it's Red Faction Guerrilla. A Red Faction game, just
Red
because
Faction
of
is pretty good.
the size of the maps plus the amount of destruction
Yeah.
they get.
I'm just trying to think of my own new genre this could lead to in my own head. So okay, so I've got a game where you start
Like
as the protagonist.
Tetris.
No, I'm thinking far more elaborate.
I mean, I
than
take
that,
Tetris
so-
99.
Yeah. So in mind, your character, you've got to go through a linear level as per usual. There's a big fort or whatever it is at the end, but everyone in the crowd can be what would usually be the AI. So everyone in your audience gets to try and take you down. You're the superpowered badass good guy hero of the game, and your hundreds upon thousands of viewers, audience, whatever they are, they can drop in through click to play and stuff. They have to bring you down and stop you reaching. So kind of like capture the flag, but the main guy streaming is the hero, and the audience is the bad guys to tear them down, and they get to use. It's basically like that's the horde of zombies coming at you. They're your audience, and you have to kill them because you don't like your audience. You got to bring them down. And this, just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking. Whole new genre style, utilize this whole crowd play thing, get them in, and we'll kill our audience, right, Richie? We'll chop them down left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Nothing
or
to stop
even-
us.
down, to be fair.
Yeah, or even like orcs must die. Let the crowd become the orcs and
Yeah.
see if
Oh,
they
that'd be
can
cool.
navigate your trap set and make it to the end. And whoever
Go.
makes it to the end, you know.
Did you ever play like Dungeon Keeper 2 where you could possess your imps? Imagine that, only like your crowd are playing like the orcs charging at you.
Yeah, they can jump in. I'm telling you, like Battle Royale revolutionized like the last 5-6 years of gaming. Crowd play, getting them involved, could be like a whole new thing unto itself if the developers get behind it all and give it a go. Yeah, that's mine. Copyright.
Heard it here on Stadia Source first.
I'm firing up Unity as we speak.
Don't copyright it, because if you copyright it, no one will do it.
What about you, Richie? What's your dream game to come to the platform, real or imagined?
Right. I'm not going to go with my dream game because I don't actually know what that is, but I think the game that would probably showcase Stadia off the best right now will probably be Call of Duty Warzone. You could have like they have with things like Grid, where there's like the 100-car race. You could have larger maps with more people through the power of Stadia than you could on PlayStation or Xbox or PC. And it's a popular game. It's lots of people in. It's very good graphically. It plays very well. I think that is literally what would showcase it best. And it'd be a massive get for them as well.
I don't know. And Alakazam asked this question in the chat, kind of sort of both. Legend, if you were going to tell Stadia the game you wanted them to make, or at least get for the platform, what would you want to see?
All right, I'm pretend they're listening to this because this is what I want. I want a battle royale fighting game that's third person, but I want it to have all the elements of different genres. Like I want to have racing, platforming, of course, fighting, shooting as well. But I don't want shooting to be as powerful, super powerful. Like, okay, if you're like a master fighter level or something in the game, right? You can at least block or dodge bullets. So if you are fighting a marksman, they would have to be able to just like, I don't know, some way to bypass that to get through. So it's not so easy to kill them, but you can easily shoot somebody that's not like a super trained fighter or something. But I want all of these genres to be mixed into one battle royale type. But I feel like no one can do it on console because, the power is going to have to take someone from Stadia. Because to have all of that shit going on in the map at the same time, like think GTA with or Ghost of Tsushima, how Ghost of Tsushima is, think of that, but multiplayer. Like we're all running around trying to take control of the map or whatever. Yep. With that, like that battle, their battle system. I feel like their battle system is really good too. By the way,
Yeah, it feels so good, especially when you're in the samurai duels. That'd be awesome as like a multiplayer thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like something like that. Google Stadia, please do it. Like, I mean, you want me to be a tester or something? I'm down.
Same.
And Charles in the chat, Sirius Sam 4 Legion system. Thousands of enemies, the streamer is Sam, and the crowd is the enemies. Right there. Like, if it's, Legend versus the crowd, which one of the thousands of people is gonna be the one to actually take him down and make it and hit, actually land that hit.
Yeah.
Well, that's your battle royale, right? The taking down the streamer is the ultimate. The win. That's the
That'd
big
be so fun.
dinner.
Looks like we're leaning towards these sort of asymmetric multiplayer games. Something like a Friday the 13th style. Imagine maybe just put a Doom skin on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hunt them down.
Dude, oh my God, Dead by Daylight is going to be too fun. Crowd play Dead by Daylight?
A crowd choice at least. I don't know if we've heard crowd play on it.
Oh.
We definitely heard crowd choice. Have we heard crowd play on Dead by Daylight? I mean, if they're gonna do crowd choice anyways, you're gonna be on YouTube with it.
Yeah.
So presumably, it'll be interesting to
day.
find that out. Somebody find that in the chat and let us know. So we definitely appreciate you being with us, Carl, and sharing.
Thank you
your
for
thoughts
having me on.
Stadia.
I really appreciate it.
One last question. Yeah, was there one last question? Was it Dan? Was it Chris? Was it Richie?
Well, it was this one in the chat.
Oh, how many Evos have you won? If you're tuning
3.
in late.
3. I've won 3 Evos.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you want to see?
I was just gonna say I have placed a top 8 at Evo 5 times though in 3 different games: the Street Fighter and Dead or Alive and Mortal Kombat, of course.
Okay, so here's the question: you can only get one.
Yeah.
Street Fighter, DOA, Mortal Kombat, latest version with crowd play on Stadia, but you only get one.
Well, MK is already on it, so
Yeah,
I mean,
but yeah,
Do we
I'm just saying, if
appreciate
you'd
it?
rather have Street Fighter,
We go for a different one.
if you'd rather have Street Fighter than MK, or if you'd rather have DOA, but you only get one.
Tekken.
man, it's hard, man. I will play all of them. I would just say crowd play, and if you queue up, pick the game you want to play, and I'll beat you in that, and then keep doing it. That's what I would do, because I can play all those games. But one, fuck, man, that's hard. Because I want to say Dead or Alive. My heart's like, you want to just fuck people up in that game. But Mortal Kombat 2, like, man. I can't pick all of them. Like, no, forget that. I
Just
cannot
think about how good the physics are going to be in Dead or Alive.
Truly elastic computing in Dead or Alive.
I play all the dudes in DOA. That doesn't bother me. Like, I don't know, man. Like, can I be poly, but for games? Can I have both of them? Like,
it's complicated. Is your status on Facebook for that?
Yes, it's complicated. Or open relationship, one of those.
Well, Carl, we appreciate you being here in the chat. If people want to find out more about you and follow you on the socials, where should they be heading?
At Perfect Legend on Twitter. My YouTube is Perfect Legend. YouTube.com/Perfect Legend. My Twitch is twitch.tv/Perfect Legend. For some reason I got the name and no one else got it. So I got the YouTube one in 2006 and the Twitch one 2008. So I got pretty lucky with my names and stuff. But yeah, you can just type Perfect Legend and find me on everything.
Fantastic. Chris and Richie, where if people want to get a little bit more of the sound of Stadia in their ears, where can they find you?
Well, like Perfect's name, we also managed to get Sounds of Stadia because there was loads of people out there searching for that on the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, everything for @Sounds of Stadia, where we do a weekly podcast similar to this, talking about all things Stadia. All gaming news, and we have basically a lovely gentleman's chat, just like we've had this afternoon. It's been lovely, but podcast every week, drop on a Monday, all podcast platforms, and YouTube as well. So, yeah, come check us out.
Fantastic. And if they want to follow you two personally for all of your Stadia insights, drop your Twitter handles. Let's get those follows up.
Richie, would you like to go first with yours? It's so creative.
Yeah, it's incredibly creative. It's at RichieC89.
And I'm at CyberChris2077, which I was surprised about that actually.
Have you been delayed though? That's the question. Is CyberChris coming out day and date?
If it's the wrong time of day, I'm always delayed. If it's in the morning, there's always a time delay on that. But no,
He doesn't get up in
coming to
mornings.
life.
I've known this guy for a long time.
Eventually. But no, as far as I'm aware, I'm day and date with Stadia.
Fantastic. If you've been watching us live on stream tonight, we absolutely appreciate you being with us and joining us every Thursday night for the Stadia Source Roundtable. If you want to know how you can support us in what we do, you can become one of these amazing people. I always point the wrong direction. Here in the lovely wall of patrons, we have a Patreon, and you can check out StadiaSource.com to join this wall of amazing people who do their best to help make what we do possible. You can join our Patreon at the bottom of any of our pages. There's this handy dandy become a patron button. Over here to the left of that, a handy dandy buy us a coffee button. If you just want to throw a couple bucks our way to say, hey, you're awesome, and we would appreciate that if you do it. Dan, thank you as always for being with us. It's your podcast after all. Ash?
I always say thanks for having me. Like it's
Ash, thanks for being on the round table.
Anytime.
Same for you, Lee.
Pleasure as always.
And hey, if you're listening to this podcast via Spotify, Twitter, you can't listen to podcasts Twitter, Spotify, etc. You can join us live most Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, find us on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. You can follow us on Twitter at StadiaSource, like us on Facebook, tell your grandmother about us, and you can also join our Discord at StadiaSource.com/Discord. If you haven't already, down below us, there's that little thumbs up button that lets us know you liked what you saw today. Please click that and let us know. And right beside it is that subscribe button. We are getting this close to 1,000 subscribers. We broke the 850 mark this week. So thank you to everybody who has recently subbed and followed the show. You can also check out StadiaSource.com for the latest news and reviews, because we are your #1 source for news and reviews on all things Stadia. For the Stadia Source Roundtable, my name is Avery. Have a good one.